Shalom. First and foremost, I give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and taught me this truth. Peace, blessings, salutations, and mercies to the elect and the one-third remnant out there listening, doing this word with all faith and sincerity, scattered amongst the nations and the four corners of the earth. To you I say shalom, Lord willing, this video is edifying. It's going to be centered around a conversation of the righteous and how the righteous will live by faith. Okay? And the Lord, through the scriptures gives us plenty of examples about how, your faith, will be counted as righteousness. Okay, that's why at Great Millstone, starting off with the apostles and elders on down, okay, we tell you that you are not justified by the law. You are not going to be delivered by the law, but you're going to be delivered according to your faith, which is righteousness. Okay? And to back that up, start off with Romans 1 and 17. I'll start at 16. It's Romans 1 to 16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Yahushua, for it is the power of the Most High until salvation to everyone that believeth, the Jew first, and also to the Greek. Now, of course, it's saying Greek, but, that is pretty much synonymous with the Gentile, right? Those of us, in this day and age, it would be all of us, because none of us, was born knowing the truth, right? We didn't grow up knowing and celebrating our heritage as being Israelites. We heard this word through some form, right, through one way or another, and then we had to put on this identity, right, in which we are lost. But during this time period, there were some that were still, knowledgeable of their heritage and their history and their lineage. Okay, but that's all been, done away with, right? Now we're all in a state of Gentiles, right, which is a state of mind, okay? But the Lord said, your salvation is to everyone who believes, okay? If you are of so-called Negroid, Latino, and Native American descent, okay, and His word resonates within you, then, and you believe, then, salvation is a possibility for you, right? For therein is the righteousness of the Most High revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith. Okay. And if you read that in the NIV, for in the gospel, the righteousness of the Most High is revealed, a righteousness that is by faith from first to last. See? So that righteousness is by faith. Okay. Just as it is written, the righteous will live by faith. And that's reiterating what's found in Habakkuk, right, where it says that the just shall live by faith. Okay, he's reiterating that, right? The righteous will live by faith. And that's how you're going to be able to tell who are, the true servants of Yahweh Shema Shah, because they're going to have and be living by their faith. Okay. And of course, that faith is going to be backed up with, actions. Okay. But the faith is what is going to be counted unto us as, for our justification. Okay. The Lord is coming back for believers. Okay. Things in which you cannot see. That's why we don't have to wear fringes every day. Okay. Because our fringes are inward. Okay. This is Genesis 15, just for an example, right? Of your faith being counted as righteousness. Okay. Because this should not be foreign if you are familiar with the scriptures. This idea, that is Genesis 15:4. And behold, the word of Yahweh Shema Shah came unto him, saying, this shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir. Okay. And I believe he's talking about, he might be talking about Ishmael. Okay. I have to read up, but I know he's talking to Abraham. Okay. Because Abraham had Isaac and Ishmael, but in this instance, he's specifically talking about Abraham and the promises in which, where he's talking to Abraham and about the promises in which he's going to receive, right? And he brought him forth a bride and said, look now toward heaven and tell the stars if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, so shall thy seed be. And he believed in Yahweh Shema Shah, and he counted it to him for righteousness. See? So Abraham believed, right? He had faith. And before this, right, Abraham was living as a complete heathen. Okay. And the Lord brought him out of that and gave him this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, right? Gave him the law, okay, orally. And Abraham believed that he counted righteousness. So, or he counted it as righteousness, not his actions, okay, but the mere fact that he had belief in what was told him, that his lineage shall be as the sand of the sea. Okay. As the stars in heaven. All right. But he had to go through hell, of course. But guess what? Even in that, the Lord, had him, just like he has us. Lord willing, we part of that number. Right. This is Proverbs 10:2. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivereth from death. See? So your faith, okay, is what's gonna deliver us from death, man. Us being, our righteousness. Okay. But these worldly things in which these, faithless people have, they're going to expire. All right. While at the same time, what we have, our faith is going to increase and it's going to be made manifest. Okay. It's going to materialize. Yahweh Shema Shah will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish, but he casteth away the substance of the wicked. That's why when you're going through this hell, you have to Understand that the Lord and believe that the Lord is not going to put you through nothing you can't bear, and that there's always a way out of it. Why? Because we have faith in Yahweh Shema Shah that he's going to get us out of any and all situations. Okay? And that mindset, that belief is what the Lord is looking for. Okay, he puts these different tribulations on you just to see what you're going to do. Okay, and if you do the right thing, which is call on his name and believe and fight, then you will be rewarded. But if not, then he's going to strip you. Okay, he's going to strip you of that gift of faith. Right, so pretty much he's stripping you of being righteous. He's stripping you of that righteousness. This is Proverbs 12:28. And the way of righteousness is life, and in the pathway thereof there is no death. Okay, matter of fact, you read that in NIV. In the way of righteousness there is life. Along that path is immortality. And that's what we're seeking. Okay, we're seeking immortality. Okay, not these temporal, things that will all be wasted away in this world. Okay, because the things in this world are all, nothing. Okay, they're not going to last, but the things in the world to come are forever. Right? So that's what we're supposed to be seeking out. And you got to be willing to, give up this life with the faith that you're going to receive in return blessings in the next. Now, does that mean you have to die? No, of course not. But this life and what we live pre-Yahweh Shai's return, it's not life, man. Okay? This ain't living. All right? We ain't seen what living is yet. Right? We ain't seen what life is about yet. And when you think of it that way, it's a lot easier. This is Psalms 34:19. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but Yahweh Shema Shai delivereth him out of them all. Right. So the Lord said he's going to deliver us from all of our afflictions, from all of our troubles, our tribulations. We're going to be delivered from out of it. Why? Because we have faith. Okay. And the scripture say the Lord, he looks upon the inward. Okay. Because when you're going through these different afflictions and tribulations and troubles, that's when your character shows the most. Right? Who you are at the core shows the most when you're stripped of all the things, that, you may value. Right? Because when you bring on those hard times, you're pretty much made naked. And in that nakedness, hey, it's easier to see, who you are. Okay. And the Lord is looking for, those men who are believers. Okay. So ultimately, we have nothing to worry about. Okay. Because these different afflictions and obstacles in which we go through, they only build our faith. So in return, they're really just, they're building up our righteousness. Okay. Making us, pleasing and acceptable to the, the eyes of Yahweh Shema Shai. So with the honor of all praise and the glory to Yahweh Shema Shai, Ba'Shem Rakakudashwa, Ba'Babal, and DTADTN.